Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Doug and I'm back to talk about another fitted cap vendor today. One of my consistently favorite vendors of the last 4 or 5 years for buying fitted caps. Now the one that I'm talking about is Hat Heaven. And the reason why I'm bringing them up is because they've shown some really strange behavior throughout this year of 2023. Now, when I first started buying from Hat Heaven in roughly 2019, it seemed like an oasis of sorts. It was really free from a lot of the hype that you got with some of the other vendors, and this was even before the fitted cap scene really exploded in 2020 and 21. And the collections they offered seemed to be really curated, and there was a lot of thought put into the designs that they offered. Even the cap I'm wearing is kind of a nice reimagining of the Walking Tiger logo, and they inverted the colors. The Old English D became orange and the tiger became white. This was something I found to be a unique find at Hat Heaven that I didn't see a lot of other places, and so that's what I came to expect from them. Now, the entire fitted cap market took a severe change and a severe turn between 2020 and 2022 as we all kind of struggled through the pandemic. That's kind of a period that I refer to as the Great Fitted Cap Bubble, because there was such an explosion and there were drops from all these vendors, and it was just crazy to try and track down fitted caps that you really wanted to get. Now, I would say that Hat Heaven was one of the vendors that really kept their same focus, even though the market was exploding and they were trying to navigate this new world of people just having this incredible demand to get a hold of fitted caps, and especially the kinds of custom fitted caps that Hat Heaven and others had started to specialize in. As many fitted cap fans struggled to secure cap drops from Hat Club, My Fitteds, other New York City-based vendors that had an online presence, it just seemed that Hat Heaven was kind of staying on track, offering good drops, and they were maybe just a little bit under the radar, because it was very common that they'd have a weekday drop, usually around 5 p.m. Eastern, and it seems like some of the caps that you wanted, including the one on my head, I got it in a reasonable amount of time compared to some of the drops at the other vendors that were selling out in seconds. But as 2021 and 2022 kind of progressed, I saw what I thought was an increase in the number of drops from Hat Heaven, as well as the number of caps in each drop. Maybe they were trying to make up for the times when they couldn't bring in as much inventory because of the new era supply chain difficulties and lagging orders. So what I saw was just kind of the steady buildup of inventory. But on another positive note, Hat Heaven seemed to keep their head clear on pricing. And I would say on average, it seemed like they were maybe a couple of bucks cheaper on average for comparable caps at other vendors that had started to scrape against the $50 mark and maybe beyond in a few cases. All these vendors were buying all these caps from New Era, bringing them in, dropping them. They always had themes. There was an amazingly saturated market for fitted caps of this kind. And what became clear to me was that Hat Heaven had built up too much inventory because they were kind of making up for lost time and trying to build and grow this market. And I think the demand for these kinds of fitted caps, especially with the rising prices, had started to decline at about the same time. What changed all for me was the summer of 2023 in June and July, when they really started moving massive amounts of fitted caps into their online clearance area. Hats that were going for $49.99 or $47.99 regularly were all of a sudden popping up in the clearance bin on Hat Heaven for sometimes $29.99 and lower. And they started sending out emails regarding these massive moves of fitted caps into their clearance area. Right after the US holiday, the 4th of July, we got this email, if you're a subscriber to the Hat Heaven newsletter, that was supposedly the end of sales sale. And it basically said, hey, we've moved about 1,000 cap styles into our clearance area online. And basically, this is the last time we're ever going to have a sale. So the tone of this email really put me off a little bit. It was kind of like, hey, You guys aren't buying this stuff. We built up this inventory for you. So now you're making us sell it at clearance prices. So you better come and get it now, because we're never going to have these caps again, and we're never going to put anything on sale again. And so I really stopped paying attention to them. I'm not going to bail them out for what appeared to be some bad business decisions in building up such inventory in the first place. In summary, I thought the email was very dismissive to their long-standing customers, and I was pretty much not going to consider Hat Heaven for a little while. Which now takes us to the late fall of 2023 as I'm recording this. One of the last things they tacked on to that end of sales email was the fact that they were going to keep on going with the drops, and that they were going to increase the number of drops and caps that they added to these, maybe promising up to 60 to 80 caps per month. And even when I saw and looked back through my emails that I got from them in October, I saw 13 separate cap drops in the month of October 2023. And unfortunately for Hat Heaven, from what I can tell, the sales of these drops seem to me to be only moderate. I sometimes take a look through the caps that were offered in a drop and just see how they're doing, say, a few days or a week after release. And a number of these drops, I'm still seeing every size available. So I don't know that these are selling necessarily as much as Hat Heaven would like them to either. And as you might be able to predict, there have been caps showing up in the sale area on hatheaven.com again. So despite that email, they've got more caps that are moving into the sale area because they can't sell them again. And I would know because I've made my first purchase in a number of months, maybe even more than a year. I got a Chicago White Sox 1960s Cooperstown logo, plain black fitted cap for $27.99 on the clearance price in their sale area. So the promise to never have sales again lasted about 3 months. So watching this crazy cycle, I don't have any inside information. I'm just watching the behavior on their Instagram profile, their email newsletter, and their website. Now that said, I think that Hat Heaven still has one of the best portfolios of cap designs, and even the one that's on my head, the one to my left, the Stomper, the classic Oakland A's with the two-tone, these are all great caps that I've found at Hat Heaven, and I think they're really terrific at designing custom caps. Up until now, they've always maintained kind of a balanced lineup. They didn't go full bore into the side patch and side hit embroidery craze, as most of the other vendors did. They still kept a running count of caps that did not have a side patch, but had some custom colorway or custom design that made them compelling and interesting. And unfortunately, some of the latest drops, even the many that happened in just this October, a lot of those feature side patches. So they might be trying to make themselves like any other vendor that's in the game right now. So it's just really tough to tell, and it's kind of frustrating because there's still some caps that they've designed that they keep in their catalog. And there's a great sky blue and navy blue Seattle Mariners custom take, but my sizes are sold out, and when they do restocks, I don't think they restock certain sizes unless a cap is completely sold out. Then they will restock the entire range of sizes in that cap design. So there you go. Kind of got that off my chest about Hat Heaven. Again, I really think they're a great vendor. And they were probably one of my favorites up until about the past year when they started being quite dismissive of their customers. And I think that was their own fault for building up this kind of inventory and then not being able to move it. Seems like they got kind of mad and used some marketing tactics like, this will never happen again. We're never putting things on sale again. So at that point, I said, that's fine. I don't need you for my fitted caps, and I'll come back to you when you've had a chance to cool off a little bit. If you've been a customer of Hat Heaven, I'd be really interested to hear what your experience has been like. So feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you think of Hat Heaven and maybe some of the directions they've taken, maybe some great caps that you found from them. But other than that, down below in the description are links for some of my best videos on how to stretch, shrink, shape, edit, or otherwise maintain your fitted baseball caps. So check those out if you're further interested. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.